guys, welcome back to my channel, Designer Secrets, Tips, Tricks, and Hacks. My name is Lori, and today we're going to talk about some really simple ways you can update the rooms in your home with minimal effort and dramatic impact. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start with this bedroom. And it's pretty plain, pretty dated, obviously, and maybe grandma went to the nursing home and here you are. This is your new house. Thanks, grandma. Appreciate it, but we need to make some updates. So, what is wrong with this room? All right, pretty obvious that the screaming blue carpet might be a problem unless you love screaming blue, and that's perfectly okay. However, this one looks like it's been walked on since 1962 and is a little worn out. So that's problem number one. Problem number two are the window treatments that are a pinch pleat and go just to the bottom of the window, which is a very dated look. And the plastic roller shades, another big no-no. You have the light fixture that has been around since the beginning of time, I'm pretty sure. And the wood color dresser and door is just a little tired, dated, as well as the bedding. So what can we do to improve this room with minimal effort and money? We can make it look like this pretty simply. So I kept the wall color as is. It's a nice shade of blue as long as it's not too scuffed up. So that'll save you some painting. And I did keep that blue carpet. However, I put in the largest area rug. That's a nice bright color I could find. And side note, I'm a great designer, not so great at Photoshop. So bear with me. This gives you the idea, and hopefully you'd forgive me for this. But anyhow, again, cover the carpet with a nice light bright area rug. Get some new bedding. You don't need to have a headboard necessarily. You can just prop up the pillows against the wall, add a bunch of pillows. As I've stated in other videos, you want it to look luxurious and soft and cozy. So you put the throw, you fold up the comforter on the end of the bed, tie in those blue colors, took down the roller shades, put up some nice seagrass shades and some nice crisp white curtain panels that you can get anywhere. They're super inexpensive. Even I think Walmart has them, Target has them, and you're not going to have to spend a lot of money. So take that dresser that's already there, paint it white, give it a fresh new look. You don't need to buy new furniture as long as that's in good shape. Same with the closet door. You don't need to replace it. It's just a nice panel door, but paint it white. And I did leave the trim and baseboard alone because I don't know about you, but painting trim and baseboard is a nightmare. So I don't recommend it, but adding that little bit of wood warmth in this room is perfectly fine. Change out the ceiling light fixture. You can get those really inexpensively online. As I've showed you in several previous videos, there are all kinds of little secret gems on Wayfair where you can get some open box items, or other areas, even going to a thrift store and somebody updated their room and put a new light fixture in and gave away the old one that still looks nice. But anyway, however you find the new light fixture, great. Put that up, brings the room up to date. Add a bench at the end if you'd like. You don't have to, but I thought that was a nice addition. Some art on the wall in that corner, just because it is kind of a large, expansive wall space, and it's nice to add a little pop of something on the wall. So again, pretty simple way to update this bedroom with minimal cost and effort. So let's look at another bedroom. Again, pretty typical. You've got the shorter windows, the valance, which is dated looking. Let's not do the scarf valances anymore. And you've got a hardwood floor, which actually looks like it's in great shape. The shades, which are fine, but we could do better. Again, no headboard. That's okay. and the lamps are definitely too small for the end tables. And the little floral decorations on the wall are great. However, we're going to look at a different way to use them. So let's look at the next slide. So again, minimal things that we have to do in this room, leaving the wall color the same, a little bit larger lamps in a nice bright white that will contrast nicely against that dark gray wall. I moved the planters on the wall to one side and staggered them, so it gives them a little more importance in the room and makes it fill the wall a little better than it did when they were on each side of that window. Again, nice long white panel drapes, nice and crisp and fresh and clean looking. Replace the shades with bamboo shades that tie in with the wood color on the closet doors and the floor. And of course, new bedding with lots of pillows and blankets, make it look cozy. Again, no headboard, so you just prop those pillows up against the wall and it looks fantastic. And kept the bench as it is, but added a lumbar pillow to kind of soften it a little bit and tie it in with the look of the rest of the room. So that's pretty simple on this one. And we're going to look at a dining room that's pretty plain. The first thing is the clutter on the pass-through between the kitchen and the dining room. Simple, simple. Take 5 minutes, clean all that clutter off, clean that shelf there, maybe even polish it with some pledge or something to give it a little sheen to it. The wall color is a little dull. Again, you have the Scarf Swag window treatment, which is very dated, and the pictures on the wall are great. Everybody loves family. However, that's not really an appropriate location for a collage like this. That belongs more in a hallway or a family room. Dining room typically has a different look. So I'll show you that here in a second. And the only furniture you have in here, which is okay, but you have a small dining table and kind of a run-of-the-mill light fixture. So let's look at what we can do to brighten this up. So again, cleaned off the clutter on the counter and brightened up the paint color and the base by painting it a lighter color, freshening up the baseboard, which I know is a pain, and I just said that in the other slide, but in this case, that baseboard really needed it. Added some long curtain panels and just left the window open because honestly, in a dining room, usually you don't need a lot of privacy. However, you could always do a continuous rod and close the curtains if ever needed. Added a little corner tree there to add a little oomph to the space, for lack of a better term. It fills the corner pretty simply. Those aren't really expensive. However, please don't get a ficus tree. Those were so done over in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. We just need to move on from ficus trees. So find something a little new and fresh looking. Added an area rug to anchor the table, so it gives it a bigger presence, even though it's the same size table. And again, Photoshop skills, not the best. So picture in your mind, if you will, it's the same dining room table and chairs. However, you can paint the chairs white, paint the base of the table white, and then either leave the tabletop as is, or there is a product called Lime Wash, which again I spoke about in another video, and you can lime wash the tabletop to give it a little bit more of a distressed finish, and it'll tone down that bright red cherry finish. I put in another light fixture that's a little bit more up-to-date looking, and a nice round large mirror on the wall for two reasons. One, it's a very simple, clean look, and two, it's going to reflect the light from that window and really brighten up the space and make it actually look larger. So quick, simple, easy ways to update this dining room. So let's look at this dining room. Very traditional. I'm sure many of you are saying, oh my gosh, this looks exactly like mine. We have the super dark traditional furniture, the chair rail, the table setting that's very formal, very dated, very dark. So what can we do to make this look better? So what we can do is freshen it up. Actually, even though it's a really deep color on the walls, it's a really good backdrop for brighter finishes, as in this setting that we're looking at. So if you can't replace your chairs, which again, look at Wayfair, look at Closeout, look at Facebook Marketplace. Maybe that you can find some inexpensive, bright dining chairs that are similar to these. It's a more updated look, and it's not matchy when you go buy your dining room set and literally everything matches. We don't want that. We add a lot of bright white tablecloth runners, place settings, centerpiece to the table, and the glasses on there are nice. I know we don't always leave our table set, however you can, but it adds that little sparkle with the glasses on there, and it really softens that dark cherry wood finish. Changed out the light fixture to something a little bit more fun and textural and contemporary. In the china cabinet, put in some bright white plates as opposed to the formal china that was in there previously, added a little greenery to give it some life in there, and then add a maybe more contemporary mirror to again bring out the current look of the room as opposed to the dated, dark, not traditional pictures, traditional style that the furniture has. So quick and easy. Honestly, painting is going to be the most time consuming on this makeover. All right, so let's look at a family room. As stated in another video, we are not wanting to line all the walls with furniture and leave the center of the room empty. It's a large sectional that looks like they removed a piece and put it over in the corner. Then you have the big fluffy recliner, which I know people like them for comfort, but I'm giving you tips as a designer. So as a designer, I say, do not buy these. They are not high design. They are not attractive. They may be the best thing you ever sat in, but purely speaking from a designer standpoint, don't do these. Another don't do, which I need to make a don't do video, is the glass console table below the TV. So again, this is a really, I don't even know what the word is, like modern, just not a good look for a room, again, speaking as a designer. And another problem with this is the TV location, because if you're sitting on that sofa watching TV, you are actually staring into all those windows, and that's going to be bright and create a glare. So we don't want that. We don't need tray tables. Get up and go to your dining room table, your kitchen table, your counter, and go eat, unless for some reason you have a condition where you need to sit and eat in the family room. And if that's the case, then tray tables galore. So another thing that is dating this room is the torchère lamp, and maybe it gives good light, but there are other current looking lamps that also give good light and don't look like they came out of 1995. So let's get rid of the torchère. If you look at the hardwood floor, it is really orange, and then the brick on the fireplace is also orange. So I understand why this is the floor they chose. However, it's just way too much orange. So I'm going to show you how to handle that in a minute. And speaking of the brick, it is very dated looking because you have all those dark bricks kind of scattered in there. It's really busy. And don't get me started on the artwork that doesn't match anything in the room. So let's look at some things we can do to update this room and make it look great. So first thing we can do is remove the piece of sectional that was over in the corner, put it back on so it's now an L-shape sectional again, which is fine. And obviously you're going to have room to walk past it, and you could always put a console table behind the piece that sticks out from the wall and move the recliner into the other corner so it's balanced. You have seating on each corner of the room. And I chose to paint that brick a nice deep tone to actually create a beautiful accent wall. And that mantle was great. And again, it's kind of got that orangey look, which ties in wonderfully with the floor. But against that dark gray, it looks absolutely fantastic and makes it really stand out and create a great accent wall. I took away the entertainment console and moved the television to the accent wall. And instead of centering your television over your fireplace in this situation, because you have this long, expansive wall, I actually offset it, which is a really current trend to do because, one, it looks a little bit more unbalanced, balanced, for lack of a better way to say it. But it gives you a nice space on one side to add some layered artwork and some kind of a floral piece, and looks just great in general. On that fireplace, I know you need fireplace tools. If you have a real wood burning fireplace, maybe hide those in a corner. Those should not be a focal point on any mantle or hearth. I added a couple of nice decorative pieces to the left of the fireplace. You can do the same, but maybe shorter, or maybe some baskets with pillows and blankets in the corner. Obviously, you don't want those too close to flame, so don't burn your house down. But just to add something in that corner, kind of by the tree, which brings me to the tree, adds a nice anchor point in the corner, softens it, gives it a little life having the greenery in there. Added the area rug in a contrasting color because that room before was very, very beige, and browns, beiges, oranges, and dark grays look great together. That is a long, expansive wall where the sectional is located. So add a couple pieces of artwork as opposed to one long piece, and add some color that ties in with the other colors in the room, in this case, kind of a dark blue-gray tone. Add some accent pillows that tie in with those tones as well. Decorate your coffee table as I showed you in some of my previous videos. Maybe anchor the wall that has the window on it with a console piece with some more decorative items and maybe some blankets under there for cold nights, and some panels that tie in with that blue-gray color on your wall. And instead of that torchlier lamp that we talked about, get a nice tripod or cantilever current looking lamp. And if it doesn't need to be where the tree is, putting it over by where the recliner is a great location for it. So again, pretty simple, inexpensive. If you can't spring for that console table, at least get the coffee table. Again, it can be secondhand, it can be painted if it's an ugly color that you find somewhere. There are ways around getting these things so that you do not have to spend tons of money. And another family room. Let me point out the issues with this one. Number one being the fireplace. It obviously has had a lot of use, which is great. I love a good fireplace, but it really has seen its day. The paneling on the walls in a baby blue color, not a great look. The two small blue chairs scattered on opposite sides of the room kind of makes them look like they're just floating in space and aren't really anchored by anything. The sofa looks like it's a nice beige neutral sofa, which is great. However, there is a large cover on it and a really dark throw blanket that is kind of ruining the look. Now, I know that people cover their furniture because they have pets. So, okay, do this when nobody's looking. But when people come over and maybe take pictures like somebody did in this room, take that off because it's going to look a lot better. You have a dated lamp in that corner by the bookcase, which looks like a very inexpensive bookcase. So we're going to talk about that too. But in general, the floor looks like it's in good shape. You have white trim, so that's good. You've got the full length curtain panels. That's great. So we're about halfway there, I'd say, on this room. So let's look at what we can do. So we kept the sofa, we kept the coffee table, we kept the rugs, we kept the chairs and the table, the TV as is, the piece under the TV, and yes, the bookcase. It's kind of painted over, but you can either get rid of it or I've got a nice, again, decorative tree, fiddle leaf fig. That is kind of the current trend on what people are putting in their homes, which is in front of it to kind of soften it and disguise it a little bit. So again, the floor was in great shape. The baseboards, changed out the baby blue paint color on the walls to just a nice soft, either ivory or light gray. And the fireplace, paint that a dark gray. Again, it sets off the fireplace itself, stands out nicely against that light color. Put a nice piece of art above the fireplace as opposed to the mirror that was there. And actually that mirror could be moved to where the two blue chairs are now on that wall across from the big window wall, because again, it reflects the light into the room, makes it brighter, and reflects that beautiful tree outside. Where the chair was by the window wall, I moved it over to create a grouping so that it's got more of an impact having those two chairs together, and added two small poofs on that wall. You could put a little console table there, but just something to kind of give that space a little extra pizzazz. So those are some easy ways to update this room. And a third family room, which, where do I get started on this? Let's start with the orange yellow paint color. That is just a color that should not be used ever. The valance in the burgundy tone is a no-no. Again, the sofa, I'm sure, is super comfortable, but this overstuffed recliner look isn't great. But again, that's a huge piece that you don't want to have to replace. And I'm, again, speaking as a designer, and I know a lot of people have these, so please don't be mad at me. But as a designer, this is not something you would put in a home. But if you have it and love it, then that's great. You do you. So what are we going to do to update this room? We are going to, number one, paint the walls a nice neutral shade that's light to brighten up the space. Take off that valance, and you can leave the shades as is. I added some fresh new pillows to the sofa to kind of update it and did them in a nice bright color to, again, lighten up the space. Added another fiddle leaf fig tree in the corner there. And the reason I moved the lamp from where the tree is because obviously if you're sitting on that sofa reading or doing whatever you do on the sofa that might need some extra light, that is a great location to have your lamp. Added a small little interesting looking end table on one side of the sectional, so you have another location to set whatever you're drinking or reading down. And I know this is a different coffee table than what was originally in the room, but again, Photoshop skills lacking. I just found one that you could use, obviously, if you have the money to buy a new one, or just paint the existing one a nice white color to brighten up the space, distress it if you want, and added a bright area rug to, again, brighten up the space. Added some artwork behind the sectional and to the left of the front door, maybe some shelves with decorative items and some more greenery to liven up the room. Okay, now that you've gotten some great ideas to do these things in your own home, I hope you do. And if you do, please comment and let me know what you've done. I appreciate it. And as always, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.